This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6 and only on RTV6, a teen shares her story. She says she was sexually assaulted by a classmate and that Hamilton Southeastern schools didn't do enough to protect her.
Also this morning, from living on the streets to finding a home, the city says a program that pays for former panhandlers is now starting to pay off.
And you remember when your mom used to say, stop playing those video games?
Yep.
Well, now you may not hear that so much because some video games can help you find a good paying job. Can't argue with that. All the kids at home are like, hey, I can get behind that. All right, want to welcome in here at 6 o'clock to Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
I'm Rafael Sanchez in for Meredith Barrett. As I was driving in northbound on 65, it was me and Garth Brooks. When the thunder rolls, there was lights. I was jamming.
Right.
If you were by me, I'm sorry. You have my plate number. Don't call state police. But what a light show.
Yeah, you know, it was the same for me. I was driving up College, and I could just see the lightning off in the distance. And we got some rain. We had some thunderstorms. But for the most part, we avoided the severe weather. That stayed down to our south. We had just a few thunderstorm warnings down in portions of Lawrence County and then eventually over into the Knox County area. But here's radar right now. We have one little lone downpour there south of Fort Wayne. But that's basically it. Some rain still in the Shoals area, back towards Vincennes with some lightning there as well. And some of these showers look like they'll clip the Bedford and Mitchell area. But for most of us here in central Indiana, the commute is going to be dry. The clouds already starting to try to break apart to the north. The clouds will probably fill back in, though, throughout the course of the day today. And so I do think it's going to be a mostly cloudy day. And as far as the rain chances go, heading forward throughout the day, I think there'll be some isolated downpours here and there across central Indiana, but nothing widespread and no additional severe threat today. 60s and 70s this morning, but as you walk out the door, it is very, very muggy. You'll notice that humidity throughout the entire day. So if you're heading to the State Fair, there could be a stray storm, but plenty of indoor places there to wait out a storm. If you did see it at all, I would not let it prevent you from doing anything outdoors today with a high temperature of 85 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look right now at your traffic. This is on the east side of town where we are monitoring this overturned semi. It's on the ramp southbound I-465 to I-70. You can see the flashing lights there on your screen. Now, if you look closely, traffic can get by in one right lane, so just use caution in this area. It's not slowing down things too much on southbound I-465. Let's take a look right now from our map. You can see this is where the crash is on the east side, so we'll continue to monitor that, as well as this crash right here blocking one left lane westbound here at I-70 near State Road 3 near Spiceland. We'll continue to let you know if that backup clears as we go on throughout the morning.
I was known as the girl who got raped. That's what people would look at me and say.
Well, a Fishers teenager is sharing her story only on RTV6. You can see here that we have Amaya Armstrong, and she says that a classmate at Hamilton Southeastern Schools sexually assaulted her, and she says that that district failed to protect her.
Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny has learned the federal investigation into this matter has been finished. And this morning she explains what they found.
Amaya's parents filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education back in February 2018, alleging Hamilton Southeastern Schools failed to properly address Amaya's allegations of sexual misconduct. Amaya Armstrong spoke with RTV6 in January 2018 with her face hidden, but now she's ready to come out of the shadows. Amaya says when she was 15 years old, an older classmate forced her to perform sexual acts on him even after she said no. Amaya is now 17 years old and a senior at HSE. What do you think the school could have done better?
I think they could have provided me with resources on how to cope, and instead I had to find that out by myself. There was nothing that they helped me do. They mentioned going to the school therapist, and that was absolutely no help. I didn't want to talk to the school. I felt like the school had kind of turned their backs on me, and I didn't know what to do.
Title IX is a federal law that says a school has a responsibility to respond promptly and efficiently to sexual harassment, including investigating and taking action to end the harassment. In its findings just released to Amaya and her parents, the U.S. Department of Education said it had concerns the district did not appropriately determine whether a hostile environment existed for Amaya following the alleged sexual assault. The feds also had concerns the district did not appropriately follow up on reports that additional students may have been sexually harassed by the same male student.
They didn't talk to people like they could have. They didn't protect. They just didn't know what to do.
The male student is identified in federal documents as Student B. We are not identifying him because he has not been criminally charged. We've been unable to reach him for comment. I'm Call 6 Investigates, Kara Kenny.
I will continue to follow this ongoing story as part of its settlement with the feds. Hamilton Southeastern has agreed to implement several steps, including improving its Title IX training and improving its documentation procedure of sexual harassment complaints. The school district provided this statement to RTV6. It reads, "We participated in a process through the U.S. Department of Education, which did not result in any violations. As part of that process, we agreed to share information with the department for a limited period of time. While unrelated to the agreement with the department, we have proactively engaged in efforts to improve our non-discrimination and anti-harassment procedures and professional development opportunities for staff and students. We will continue to monitor and refine all of our practices to reflect our continuing commitment to educational community, equity, and respect."
It is 6:06. The leader of the Indiana National Guard has resigned following a lawsuit accusing him of defamation, and it all started with an alleged extramarital affair. Governor Holcomb says that he recommended Major General Courtney Carr retire, and the governor says that Carr will resign effective this coming Friday. A former contractor with the Indiana National Guard filed a lawsuit accusing Carr of retaliating against her after she reported his alleged affair with a subordinate. The governor's office says that Brigadier General Timothy Winslow will serve as the interim adjutant general.
Let's talk money, your money. The budget is now in the hands of the City County Council after Indy's mayor presented his spending plan, and here are some of the highlights in that budget. $1.2 million for potential IMPD body cameras, a 40% cut in the funding for the mayor's office from about $10 million to about $4 million, and an additional $8 million for the Department of Public Works, which is an increase of about 5%.
And a program to help curb panhandling downtown will get more funding under the mayor's budget plan. It would put more people to work cleaning up the city. Last month, we talked to a man who says that the program led to a better paying job. After living on the streets for a year, he's now working full time and he's moving into his own apartment.
It was just really tough because I wasn't getting any calls back for job opportunities, and it was getting close to a year. And then once this door opened, I took the opportunity, and I feel blessed to have this job.
The mayor is asking for $300,000 to give jobs to the homeless. The city spent about $120,000 on the pilot program this year. Well, you can read more about the entire budget proposal by going to the RTV6 app and clicking on this story.
So Todd and I grew up with the Atari, right, Todd? We had Ataris, but in this age of the Xbox and the Nintendo Switch, there's a new arcade in town that is teaching students about the world while having fun. Over at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, we find that our Aaron Lish is having the best time of her life, showing us how Purdue Extension is trying to get kids classroom to career ready. And Aaron, you're having too much fun. I'm sorry.
There's nothing what's too much fun. We are having a blast in here. This is the Pixel Play Arcade, and there are 7 different games in here. They're all created by Purdue students, and the things that they focus on are things from wildlife conservation all the way to health. We have a few here. We have Great Grain Grab that talks about the whole grains as part of a healthy diet. We even talk about hellbenders here, how they're endangered here in Indiana. Another neat one over here are the hot plates, connecting all those healthy foods to which one they will match on this area here. And the purpose really behind all of this is to get kids excited about any of these different topics, whether it's from that health or all the way to agriculture, and potentially creating a career path for them. And from what we've seen at the fair here, it's working with these kids.
They're realistic. That's kind of cool. It's like they're fun, they're hard, they're challenging.
If it can be a little arcade game where they learn a little bit about health and the importance of calcium in their healthy diets, to make them think about that as their career choice of the future, that's what we hope to do.
And, really talking with Purdue Extension, they say they want to get these kids excited about STEM early so they know exactly what they want to do. That's including science, engineering, technology, and math. And your kids can come here. They will have a blast. You heard the little boy earlier. His name's Aaron. He loved the Hellbender game. His mom said that they spent so much time in here. So you can actually come here. They're going to be open during the entire fair. And if you miss out during this week, they will be showing this at local kids museums. We're going to have a little bit more from that little boy Aaron in the next half hour and what he's learned in here. But for now, back to you in the studio.
And a great place to cool off from the heat at the fair. Aaron, thank you so much. The time right now is 6:10 on your Tuesday. A top-ranking executive with Maple Leaf Farms up in northern Indiana is facing charges for giving alcohol to minors. Court documents say that John Tucker and his wife Maria were charged after police in Warsaw, Indiana, responded to a call of a loud party at their home in late June. Police say they found more than 30 underage people who had been drinking alcohol at the party. John Tucker is the co-president of Maple Leaf Farms, according to the company's website. Maple Leaf is known for producing eggs and ducks. As of now, he and his wife only face misdemeanor charges in this case. Right now, we want to check in with Todd and get a look at our forecast for today. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, one of the things you'll notice when you walk out the door, Lauren, right away is the humidity. It is way up there this morning, and unfortunately, that's the way it's going to stay throughout the entire day. So on our humidity scale, we have to bump the needle all the way up into this very muggy, it's almost the instant sweat category for the day today. But today is the last day that we'll deal with this high humidity as we usher in a new air mass tomorrow. But with this humidity around and some instability, there will be about the 10 to 20% chance of a few isolated downpours here throughout the day today. No severe weather, so that's the good news, and we really could use a little bit of rain. And again, all this rain is going to be very, very spotty. We have this cluster of storms that'll push down to the south, but just watch for those isolated storms to flare up, especially during the peak heating of the day. If you do see one, it's not going to last very long, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then it will be on its way. We'll talk more about your extended forecast and that nice weather heading our way coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, if you cross this median, you could get in trouble. Next on Good Morning Indiana, another big change brought by that Red Line project and how one business owner is not happy about it.
Here's a good deal, a shave, a haircut, and how about a good paycheck? We'll show you how a high school program that gives the tools of the barber trade to young people will help them possibly get hired after graduation, Lauren.
In Raphael, here's another live look at that semi cleanup. Overturned semi here on the ramp southbound I-465 to I-70. Use caution as you travel through that area. It's not causing too many slowdowns, though, so that is good news at this hour. We'll keep on top of traffic for your Tuesday morning commute. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
At Ross, yes for less.
Working for you, RTV6 is helping you to navigate the changes created here by this Red Line rapid transit route. It includes some new barriers. There are these medians. They look kind of like speed bumps along Meridian Street and College Avenue. You see it right there. That means you can only turn left or make a U-turn at intersections that have traffic signals. So we caught up with some drivers turning left anyways, crossing that median. Well, the change makes it more difficult to get into some local businesses like Lincoln Square Pancake House here on Meridian Street. And the owner of that restaurant is worried.
As a business owner, it's a little scary for sure. I'd rather actually have a left turn, but it is scary.
I didn't see anything posted. See, I always thought U-turns were illegal. So now I need to make more U-turns and less left turns. All right. Well, I guess that you learn something new every day.
Well, only emergency vehicles and buses are allowed to cross that median. You see it there again, and you can get a ticket for violating that rule. A lot of changes going into effect.
September 1st will be an interesting day in Indianapolis, so please, please, please follow the rules.
I know, a lot of rules. Well, it is a $3 billion industry, and it's in need of people that are professionally trained.
And that's why the Career Center at Pike High School is offering their students the opportunity to learn how to become a barber. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning with a program hoping to create quite a buzz on that campus. Alyssa, fill us in.
That's right, Raphael. And the instructor says this program is very popular already among students. Students are learning very specific skills that will allow them to graduate and work in a barber shop right after high school.
I decided to choose this program because I've always had a fascination with cutting hair.
James Taylor is a senior at Pike High School. He's in his second year of barbering. The student working on his hair is in his first year.
They all practice on each other. Every student has a different hair texture, hair type, so that gives them experience on all walks of life.
Taylor is one of 40 students in the program. Students learn barbering basics, which are different than what they'd learn in a cosmetology school.
Cosmetologists typically don't use straight razors on the skin, barbers do. The barbering curriculum also goes more into depth as it pertains to the skin.
Those in the program also learn skills that will help them in any career.
I've been learning a lot about professionalism and how to run a business.
The opportunity, an important one for Taylor and his peers. While he plans to go on to college, he knows that's not the path for everyone.
I want to go to college, but not a lot of people do, so it's good to have another option that's healthy and, legal.
The program can be a stepping stone for those who want to pursue higher education, or students can jump right into the workforce when they finish. And students graduate from the program with a barbering license, which means they can go right in and work at a barber shop when they graduate from high school. Students can also receive college credit for completing the curriculum. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
All right, thank you, Alyssa. The time now is 6:18. Many of you may have woken up at some point throughout the night with the rumbles of thunder that went through and the heavy rain that we dealt with. It's much more quiet here at the 6:17 hour with Storm Team 6 radar. That's fairly quiet. The one exception is far down to the southwest here. Some heavy rain still from Shoals back towards Vincennes down towards Jasper. And some of this rain is going to sneak into southern Lawrence County here near the Bedford and Mitchell area. But for the most part, this is going to continue to dive down to the south. In fact, to the north, you notice the skies trying to clear a little bit here. So throughout the day today, our rain chances are not completely over. I do think there will be some isolated downpours that'll start to flare up across parts of the area. But by far, the main storm track will be south of the Ohio River once we get past the next hour or so. All the rainfall that I think we'll have to deal with this afternoon is just going to be these isolated downpours that are going to flare up here and there. We're just kind of still in a very unstable atmosphere, and we throw in a little bit of sunshine here, and that's going to help to flare up just these spotty downpours at times throughout the afternoon hours. So you may want to have the umbrella handy if you do deal with one of these downpours. It's not going to last very long, probably only about 10 to 15 minutes. We're not expecting any severe weather, but there could be a little bit of lightning mixed in with a few of these downpours, so keep that in mind. And they're with us through about sunset, and then once the sun sets, they'll fade away pretty quickly. So I wouldn't cancel any outdoor plans if you do have them today, whether you're heading to the State Fair, the Indians play later on this evening, or maybe you're just going out for a walk or a run. Just know during the peak heating of the day, there will be the chance of a downpour or two, but no widespread rain for us for the remainder of the day today. Now, you'll have to contend with very, very muggy conditions. Humidity's way up there at 93%. That dew point's at 70. That's a very uncomfortable number for us, with an actual temperature right now of 72 degrees in Indianapolis, 75 in Muncie, 60s though in Crawfordsville, as well as Greencastle. So throughout the day today, the humidity doesn't really change, so it's a pretty uncomfortable day. We're in the 70s this morning, and then eventually into the low 80s as we get into the afternoon hours. And then this evening, that's when you'll finally notice the humidity start to fall just a little bit as we change our wind direction, but that will set us up for a beautiful day tomorrow. Lower humidity, lots of sunshine, and a high temperature in the low 80s. It's Thursday, though, that will pinpoint here as the best weather day of the week. Sunshine, low humidity, a high of 80 degrees. And then by Friday morning, we're looking at a temperature right around 60 in the city, but 50s, though, Lauren, in some of the outlying areas.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a live look at traffic right now. We're still monitoring an overturned semi-crash. Cleanup here on the ramp southbound I-465 to I-70 on the east side. You can see traffic is still getting by in the right lane of that ramp. Just use caution. Here's a live look at our Traffic Now map as we are monitoring that issue. It's over here on the east side, so just a heads up to that. And we still have a little bit of a delay from an overnight crash. This was closing I-70 westbound, but now only one right lane is blocked. This is near State Road 3 in Spiceland. Just give yourself extra time if you're traveling through that area.
He didn't throw away his shot. He wanted to be in the room where it happens. Coming up next on the Trending 6, a man whose famous name almost kept him off a key ballot. The time now is 6:21. You're watching Good Morning Indiana.
Elder Law help you get your ducks in a row.
The time now is 6:24. Before we head out the door, it is time for the one and only Trending 6.
Yes, and we begin with a man with a very famous name, and it almost kept him from his shot at public service. Well, his name is Alexander Hamilton, he's there on your screen. He successfully sued to get his name on the ballot in a school board race in New Jersey. A county clerk says that the 30-year-old man could not put Alexander Hamilton on the ballot because his legal first name is Vernon. But Hamilton says he's always gone by Alexander because his father's name is also Vernon.
Don't mess with Hamilton.
There you go.
Can you feel the love tonight, or at least this morning? If you're an Elton John fan, you'll have to wait one day longer than planned to see him at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. The concert, originally scheduled for Friday, October the 25th, is now set for Saturday, October 26th. Just one day.
One day.
It's going to be okay, just one day. The promoter of the concert says the change is due to a scheduling issue with a show in Toronto.
Well, the Pacers' Victor Oladipo hanging out at the new NBA experience at Disney Springs in Orlando. The new NBA schedule is out for the next season, and the Pacers will open October 23rd at home against the Pistons. December will be a big month this year as Bankers Life Fieldhouse will get visits from Paul George and the LA Clippers, as well as LeBron and the Lakers.
Oladipo, welcome back. They don't call him the Punisher for nothing. The Reds outfielder Aristides Aquino Nunez hit another home run last night against the Nationals. That is the rookie's 8th home run over the first 12 games of his major league career. And this is a major league record.
Wow.
You go, Aristides. You go.
Well, a skunk that had a hankering for some ice cream got some badly needed help from the police in the town of Bridgeton, Maine. We see the officer there tossing his jacket on top of the skunk there, and that's because the poor little critter had a McFlurry cup stuck on its head. But watch as the officer slowly moves in, and when one move removes the cup, and the skunk, he's like, hello, there's daylight, and he moves on unharmed.
Keep on moving, skunk. Keep on moving. I love this. Moms and dads, that's how you properly embarrass your child. A.B. Stevens says she discovered that when she opened her oven, it sounded like the beat of the hit song, Yeah, Yeah, from Usher. That's been a while, Lauren. That hit was back in 2004. So much to her daughter's dismay, Amy made a TikTok video out of it as well, which is TikTok is Kesha, but that reminds me of Hitch. Remember the movie Hitch?
Yes, I've seen that movie. Oh my goodness. The best part is the reaction.
The daughter's just like, oh my goodness.
As you head out this morning outside, you're going to be saying, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
it's gone.
We're done with the severe threat. That's good news at least, but we still will maintain the chance of a spotty downpour in the forecast here really at any point throughout the day today. It's warm and it's muggy this morning with temperatures that are currently sitting in the 70s. We'll get into the low to mid 80s this afternoon as far as those storms. Nothing severe from this point forward, but there could be a little bit of lightning as well as those heavy downpours mixed in at times. The time now is 6:27. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
August 2nd through 18th.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6:30, Classroom to Career is part of our Hiring Hoosiers initiative dedicated to helping kids get that jump start into the workforce. This morning, we're taking a look at two unique programs right here in central Indiana.
And this morning, a teen facing felony charges after police say he brought a gun to a Muncie Central High School. But only on RTV6 this morning, what the boy's aunt is saying about his actions.
And a local couple could be forced out of their own home by the end of the year. The reason the I-69 expansion could mean their home will need to be torn down. But first, it is 6:31. It's a Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Casey.
I'm Rafael Sanchez in for Meredith. And, of course, appreciate our team of meteorologists in coming in this morning.
Yes.
You and Kyle Mounts have been here since 1 o'clock to make sure we were all safe. So thank you for doing that. And everything is gone, right?
Yeah, you know, the severe threat is over for the day today. We had a tornado watch. No tornadoes touched down. That's the good news. Just a few damage reports from thunderstorms down near the Vincennes area, and that's just about it. And here is a live look right now on Storm Team 6 radar, and you can see the sweeps here not showing much of anything. One little downpour south of Fort Wayne, and then we do have some heavier rainfall just out of our area in far southwestern portions of the state. So Vincennes down towards Evansville right now, getting a lot of heavy rain, but that is diving down to the south. In fact, as you look to the north here, the skies are already trying to clear across the area. So I do think we'll have some sunshine mixed in throughout the day today, but those clouds will fill back in, and we will have some isolated storms. So this line of storms will go to the south. That's not what we'll have to deal with. I do think these spotty downpours will just be manufactured by some instability around and then the daytime heating. So it's muggy out there, no doubt about that. We're in the 60s and 70s here this morning. We'll be into the mid-80s later on this afternoon. We're not looking at a lot in the way of rainfall. I wouldn't cancel any outdoor plans, but just know, especially during the mid-afternoon and early evening hours, there will be the chance for a few isolated thunderstorms. Time now is 6:32. Let's get an update on the roads.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, we have Shay Goodpaster driving in our live drive vehicle, and you can see a view here from his dash camera at what traffic's like for your commute. Now, we all know that eastbound, northbound I-465 is closed along the southeast side of town, so drivers are having to reroute on the interstates through the downtown area, including I-70 here, heading through the downtown area at the splits. And we can see here that it already is getting a little bit busy. A lot of people merging on and off there. So just give yourself that extra time if this is part of your commute.
The time now is 6:33. With kids back in school all across central Indiana, our Classroom to Career initiative is focused on connecting students with programs that could help them one day land a job. And this morning, we're looking at some arcade games that are actually helping kids excel in science and technology.
Hey, you can't beat that, right? Well, our Erin Lish joining us live this morning from the State Fairgrounds. She's inside the Agriculture Horticulture building, showing us exactly that. Erin, talk to us a little bit more about who's behind this learning environment.
So Purdue Extension has created the Pixel Play Arcade, and you can come here. There's 7 different games here where kids can learn and have fun while doing it. Glowing lights and sounds of high scores are coming out of the Purdue Extension Arcade, and there's a big fan of these games.
They're realistic. That's kind of cool. It's like they're fun, they're hard, they're challenging.
Fun and challenging is exactly what Purdue Extension was hoping for.
One of the things that we found is one of the easiest ways to teach youth about science or other different educational aspects of it is put it in a game format.
Their goal is to get kids interested in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the youth continue to be involved in science, engage in it as they grow up and go through school.
The games focus on health and science like good grains and creatures roaming Indiana like hellbenders. But kids don't even realize they're learning.
Yeah, I think they're amphibians. Yeah, salamanders, like little salamander things that are endangered in Indiana. I think I have actually seen a real one.
Bringing excitement to learning and a dream of a career in the making.
If it can be a little arcade game where they learn a little bit about health and the importance of calcium in their healthy diets, to make them think about that as their career choice of the future, that's what we hope to do.
So all of these games were actually created by Purdue Extension students, and they wanted to focus on wildlife as well as health. So you guys can stop by here. It's going to be open during the fair this entire time. If you can't make it to the fair, that's okay, because they actually will have these at the kids' museums. I was just playing the one that Erin enjoyed, Hellbender Havoc, and what's really neat about that is it's connected with Indiana since they are endangered. And speaking of animals, tomorrow we are highlighting a path that your kids can take to become veterinarians. Back to you in the studio.
Erin is having too much fun.
But she's been playing games all morning.
So now I know, besides a tenderloin and a lemon shake-up, an educational opportunity at the State Fair.
Yeah.
Continuing our Classroom to Career story, students at Pike High School's Career Center, they're learning a unique skill that can land them a job right after they graduate.
Yeah, the barbering industry is in need of people right now who are professionally trained. And so our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live from Pike High School this morning. And Alyssa, there is a fully functioning barbershop inside that school for the students so they can work and also receive their education.
And it's open to the public, so people can come on in and make an appointment and get their hair done by these kids. Now, they tell me, the instructor tells me that these students are learning a very specific kind of skill. They say it's not the same as cosmetology. Barbering is a little bit different. Unlike cosmetology, these students are learning how to use straight razors on the skin. They're also getting a more in-depth education on skincare. There are 40 students in the program right now. They attend class for part of the day day, and then they come to the barber shop in the school for the other half. The program has been around for 5 years and always attracts a lot of interest. Students learn precision cutting, how to do facials, the art of shaving, along with skills that are applicable to any career like professionalism, marketing skills, and how to build their own brand. I spoke to one student who says he's grateful to have this opportunity that gives him a future right after high school.
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel safe and comfortable to get out of school and be by myself. It lets me know that I have a chance to provide for myself if nobody can do it for me.
Now, students graduate with a barber certification when they complete the program, and they have all the skills they need to go on to work right away in a barber shop. And tomorrow on Good Morning Indiana, we're going to continue our classroom to career coverage. I'll be introducing you to two teens who are working for a future in the farming industry. I'll explain the program they're involved in and how your kids can get involved. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you so much. And if you're looking for more information about these career programs, maybe some other job opportunities here in Central Indiana, our Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page is a really big help. That's where you can find these posts from prospective companies who are looking for new employees and all of our other Hiring Hoosiers stories. It's just a click away for you right now on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. And our Hiring Hoosiers Classroom to Career initiative continues all week long, all month long here on Good Morning Indiana. And here's a preview of the stories and schools we'll be featuring tomorrow morning. So be sure to join us all week long right here on Good Morning Indiana from 4:30 to 7.
Lauren, thank you so much. The time now is 6:38. A 15-year-old student caught with a gun outside of Muncie Central High School is now facing formal criminal charges. And only on RTV6, the boy's aunt says that young man needs help.
He's not this cold-hearted next mass shooter.
According to court documents, the teen had been disruptive on the day that he brought that weapon near the school last week. His aunt, who asked not to be named, says her nephew was being bullied and threatened, and that's why he brought the gun to school, he says, for protection.
It was a bad decision, but he would have never used it. He would have never, unless he felt his life was in danger. And for him to have it, I think it made him feel a little more at ease, because if you're, why would you want to get up and go to school every day? And why would you be there all day long and then, and then try to do something at the end of the day?
Despite the family's account and the support of him, the boy faces several criminal charges, including possession of a firearm on school property.
At 6:39, a Southern Indiana man accused of killing his girlfriend and eating parts of her body will stand trial next week as scheduled. In the courtroom, Joseph Oberhansley told prosecutors he was completely innocent. Court records allege that Oberhansley killed Tammy Jo Blanton nearly 5 years ago, dismembering her body and eating parts of it. Per Oberhansley's request, an insanity defense will not be used, and as a result, the state will not seek the death penalty. His attorney is asking the judge to include some mental health evidence that Oberhansley does not understand what's happening in the courtroom. Rulings on these court motions are expected to be in by the end of the week.
It is 71 degrees, 640 right now. RTV6 is working for you and getting answers for a couple facing the growing likelihood that they're going to be forced out of their home because of the I-69 project. Homes and businesses are being torn down as construction continues on I-69 south of Indianapolis. And Penny and Douglas Bertie say they were never given a clear reason why their home is among the properties listed to be taken during I-69's construction. They say plans show the highway running behind their neighborhood. INDOT tells us the new interstate is not slated to run through the Bertie's property, but their home will likely be torn down to build some sort of drainage system for that project. INDOT is currently assessing which properties they will need to take. The Berties may be forced to leave their home as soon as January.
Well, it's an issue that has neighbors up in Castleton turning up their noses, and it should be fixed by the end of this week. A drainage project in the Castleton Farms neighborhood near 75th and Shaveland left dead fish behind, in a terrible smell. DPW says the Homeowners Association knew that the fish kill was necessary. Dredging work is now getting underway, and we're told the pond will be restocked once this project wraps up in November. It's our mission to work for you. If you aren't getting the answers that you think you deserve, you can reach out to us by emailing workingforyou@rtv6.com. It is 6:41 on your Tuesday, and you were taking the dog out for a walk today. We want to get a check of that forecast.
Yeah, not too bad here this morning. We had the severe weather overnight in southwestern Indiana, just some heavy rain and thunder and lightning across most of the area, but that has moved out. So our featured dog of the day today is Abby, sent in by Peggy, and there's Abby smelling the flowers there on the back deck, enjoying the sunshine. Not a ton of sunshine in the forecast for the day today, but we'll have some mixed in at times. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies, really muggy today. Temperatures in the 70s and eventually climbing into the mid-80s. And during the peak heating of the day, there could be an isolated downpour or two. That's why I changed it from the green paws to the yellow paws. And if you'd like your dog featured, you can send those pictures to me on my Facebook page, Todd Clausen, RTV6. So here's what's left of the rain. This heavy rain in southern Indiana is going to cross the Ohio down into portions of Kentucky. Skies starting to clear a little bit in northern locations. Look for highs today in the mid-80s. We'll talk about a whole new air mass that's in place for tomorrow, coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, we'll see you in a moment. New details this morning about the suspected suicide of Jeffrey Epstein, but we're learning about the guards who were supposed to be watching him. Lauren?
And the protests continue this morning in Hong Kong as demonstrators there push for democracy. The major impact these protests could have around the world. At 6:43, we'll be right back.
The time now is 6:45, and federal prosecutors are telling us that anyone who conspired with wealthy investor Jeffrey Epstein in his alleged sexual abuse of underage girls could still face criminal charges. Many of Epstein's accusers say they feel cheated out of an opportunity for justice after he was found dead of an apparent suicide in jail on Saturday. U.S. Attorney General William Barr says Epstein's death will not be the end of the investigation.
Let me assure you that this case will continue on against anyone who was complicit with Epstein. Any co-conspirators should not rest easy. The victims deserve justice, and they will get it.
Epstein's death is under scrutiny, as you just heard. According to ABC News, sources say the guards were supposed to check on Epstein every 30 minutes, but they did not in the hours before he was found dead. And the Associated Press is reporting that one of the guards was not a correctional officer.
At 6:46, officials say that an officer and a suspect were killed in a shootout with the California Highway Patrol during a traffic stop. Riverside police say for unknown reasons, the suspect began firing on officers. At least one officer returned gunfire. The suspect was hit along with 3 officers. Officials later said the suspect died at a hospital. Riverside police say one of the injured officers remains in critical condition. The second officer only has minor injuries.
This morning, we're getting a good look at a wild rescue that played out in Louisiana. A man actually filmed himself being rescued by the Coast Guard. The rescue was needed when 2 men out of a fishing boat became stranded, and the Coast Guard was called to lift them to safety. You can see the moment they lift off and head up to the chopper. Thankfully, neither of the men were injured.
Wow. Well, the protests continue this morning in Hong Kong as airport protests have now entered the 5th day. The protests are disrupting flights in and out of one of Asia's busiest hubs. The departing flights were all canceled on Monday, and several have been grounded even today. The city's chief executive said that the protests are pushing Hong Kong towards the brink of no return. Thousands have been protesting in Hong Kong since June, with demonstrators pushing for more democracy.
A man serving time in southern Indiana got to hug his mother on her last day of chemotherapy, thanks to the generous gesture from the sheriff. The Jackson County Sheriff says that Brad Parks has been extremely active on the inmate work crew and helps at a local food pantry. As a reward for his good attitude, the Sheriff's office surprised Parks by taking him to his mother's last day of cancer treatment, as you can see there. Sheriff Rick Myers says if inmates take the time to make positive changes, they will be rewarded. And that inmate was rewarded by seeing his mom ring that bell. The time now is 6:48. Say goodbye to the severe weather, Lauren, and
yes.
today's going to be a bad hair day.
Oh, yes. Well,
I mean, not for you because you always look fantastic.
A lot of hairspray.
A lot of hairspray today.
We'll say that. Todd, what can we expect out there?
Yeah, that humidity is way up there this morning. That's one of the first things I think you'll notice as you walk out the door, and then the humidity stays up throughout the entire day, unfortunately. The one good news is, as you look to the north here, you see the skies trying to clear just a little bit. You see that haze, which is the humidity, and I do think we'll have some sunshine at times throughout the day today, but overall it's going to be mostly cloudy. Those clear skies should start to fill in a little bit as the sun gets higher above the horizon. 72 degrees right now. That dew point is at 70. Anytime the dew point here in central Indiana, or anywhere for that matter, is at 70 degrees, it's starting to get a little uncomfortable. And look what's going to happen to the dew point here throughout the day today. It really doesn't do a whole lot. We'll fall into the upper 60s later on this evening. So it's a pretty uncomfortable day for us by a humidity standpoint. Things really do start to improve, though, as we get into the day tomorrow. So that's something to look forward to. But with the humidity around and temperatures that eventually climb up into the 80s, I do think we'll continue to have some isolated thunderstorms across parts of the area. 60s and 70s right now are the current temperatures out there, but radar is pretty quiet. The big change from earlier this morning when we had several lines of storms coming through. In fact, the thunder may have woken you up, or the heavy rain pitter-pattering on your roof might have woken you as well. Really don't have a whole lot out there right now in central Indiana. Still some heavy rainfall here along I-69. If your plans take you south of Bloomington towards Evansville here this morning, with some lightning as well. And then some showers as you work your way just south of Bedford. But that line of storms continues to dive down to the south. So that's the good news. Most of central Indiana will be dry for the entire duration of the morning commute. But there still is enough instability here in the atmosphere that as we get into the peak heating of the day, with that humidity I mentioned, look how we flare up just some isolated downpours here and there across parts of the area. If you do see one of these downpours, it may last 10 to 15 minutes. And honestly, that's probably just about it. Maybe a few lightning strikes mixed in as well. But we are not expecting any severe weather throughout the day today. So you may have to just alter your plans for 15 minutes or so later on today if you are going to be outdoors. But I wouldn't cancel them. And then any threat of rain fades as the sun starts to set later on this evening. So here's how it plans out for you hour by hour throughout the day today. 70s this morning, around 80 degrees by the noon hour. Our high temperature gets up to 83 degrees as we head into the 5 o'clock hour. I mentioned tomorrow a new air mass in place. It's going to be beautiful. Mostly sunny skies. Temperatures still in the mid 80s, but the humidity decreases. It's Thursday, though, and that is the day that you really have to look forward to. Low humidity, temperature right around 80 degrees. And then Friday, we're still very comfortable at 83. But overnight Thursday into Friday, the temperature gets down to about 60 degrees in Indy, 50s, though, in the outlying areas. So it's going to be a nice, comfortable end to the work week before the heat builds back in for the weekend, with maybe the chance of a few isolated thunderstorms returning to the forecast, Lauren, on Sunday.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Our own Shay Goodpaster is in our live drive vehicle this morning. This is the dash cam view on northbound I-465 near Pendleton Pike. This is the northeast side of town where you can see everything is traveling up to speed. Great news if you're heading through that direction at this early hour. Well, it is a hidden danger, and it could cause some big problems for your pets. What you should know before your dog jumps into a lake. It's 6:51. We'll be right back.
Weekdays at 9 on RTV6.
What may look like innocent swims are actually making dogs really sick, and in some cases killing them. It's already happened in Georgia, Texas, and North Carolina. One family in North Carolina had taken their 3 Westies to a pond. All 3 got sick. 2 of them started having seizures almost immediately. Unfortunately, all 3 died within just 2 days. Vets say to get medical attention as soon as you can if you think that your dog is sick from algae.
Usually gastrointestinal signs. Dogs are just not acting themselves, not feeling well for a day or two. Vomiting, diarrhea, lethargy would be the most common things we see.
Vets say the toxic algae can stick on a dog's fur, and to give them a bath right after they swim. The algae is usually found in shallow water when it gets really warm outside, and this algae can be found all over the country.
It is the last full week for the Indiana State Fair. There's plenty to do out there, so please head out. It's going to be great. Tonight, the 16 Candles concert will hit the free stage. In addition, there's also a trick dog show today, and the chance for your kids to meet the one and only The Flash. At 7:30 will be the Indiana State Fair Championship Rodeo. The Indiana State Fair wraps up this Sunday. plenty to do. As they always say, every day is a great day at the Indiana State Fair. One of the newest players on the Cincinnati Reds is setting Major League Baseball on fire. This is rookie outfielder Aristides Aquino Nunez, and he now has 8 home runs in just 12 Major League games. That's the Major League record for the fastest. You can call him the Flash. A player has ever hit 8 home runs in their career. Now, over the past weekend, Aquino had 3 homers in 1 game against the Cubs. Sorry, Cubby fans. He's just good. And for his nickname, fittingly, he is known as the Punisher. There he goes. He's having quite a season.
Oh, man.
You had quite an evening, Todd Clausen. I mean,
evening, morning,
early morning.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
24/7. What happened? It's all done, right?
Yeah. Thankfully, we didn't really have to cut in for any tornado warnings. So we did have a tornado watch, but that came and went. All the warnings for thunderstorms have been dropped, and it's a pretty quiet morning for us, actually, with just partly to mostly cloudy skies. We'll build back in the chance of some spotty storms as we work our way into the afternoon hours today, with very muggy conditions today. High about 85 degrees. No severe weather with those spotty storms, though, later on today. And then the humidity drops tomorrow. Thursday is great before the heat builds back in as we head into the weekend.
All right, Todd. Thank you so much.
And we're going to be back right here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America with local news, weather, and traffic updates. I want to show you our live drive vehicle right now. Smooth sailing here on the northeast side, so that is good news for your commute.
And remember, news and weather all day on the RTV6 app. Have a good morning. Enjoy the day. Good Morning America is next.